Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Thursday the 10th of April and in this educational video we will see a lot of volatility that has occurred over the past couple of weeks and again massive yesterday. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no advice whatsoever. It's just to guide you through how I read the market from a technical analysis point of view, how I use the chart, how I use the indicators, and how I work with the annotations and other technical tools. So today let's start with the semiconductor index, the SOXX, as it is called, in the form of the iShares Semiconductor ETF. It has bounced 61.8 retracement of the last leg down here. We did talk about yesterday it could be an exhaustive leg down. We were in exhaustive mode in general across the board, but we could see lower levels. It wasn't unlikely. However, it did seem like we were in exhaustive situation. And then the announcement that the tariffs will be put on hold for 90 days, of course, was good for the market. But what a ride! We were up almost 19% on the SOXX index, and it has bounced very strongly. It was very close to the key support down here at 145 on the weekly, and now it's back above the 200 weekly moving average, and it's back above 178. Could possibly bounce further in the coming days, but I'm not quite sure we'll go into full-blown bullish mode just yet. On the overall indices, S&P ended up almost 10%, closed this gap here, and the next one is then the gap up till 5,581. But the key is, can it get back above 5,800 in this area here and then totally cancel this top of reversal pattern? That will be key to what's in the near future. I think we will see a market still being nervous, and I think we'll see some profit taking after the massive move yesterday. Here we saw on the weekly, it dipped almost down to 4,800. Didn't get all the way down there. It could have gone all the way down to 4,600. That was the risk. But now we are back above 5,400 here. Still bearish, but what a massive move. Pretty much sitting back a little bit. As we can see, here is the US 500. It actually reached 50% of the entire downtrend, and now it's being sliding back a little bit. The Nasdaq 100, also massive move, of course, yesterday, 12% higher. So it closed this gap and it closed this gap here, or not, it did not, just exactly not. Let's see, I think here pre-market we are sliding back a little bit from almost hitting 50% of the entire downtrend. So we can also measure from this sell-off here, we got almost up to the 786 just in between here and the 21 moving average. I think we will slide back here maybe in a couple of days, and then we will have another push higher. The Dow Jones index almost 8% up, a massive move. What is interesting to watch, by the way, let me just go back to Nasdaq 100. It has actually on the weekly, let's see if it will keep it that way, but on the weekly formed a bullish engulfing bottom and reversal pattern. But let's see where we end the week. We have the Dow Jones index pushing towards resistance 41,412, and the pre-market setting back a little bit. Obviously, there's some profit taking coming in, but trading currently around the 61.8 retracement in the region around 40,400. Expect a little bit of a setback, but I expect the European markets to open much higher. Moving on to the European markets, and here EUROSTOXX 50, of course, it was hammered at the end of the close yesterday. So let's have a look at what's going on in the market, and we can see here in the aftermarket that it bounced really strongly. The future and CFDs, of course, took back 50%, and that is roughly where we are about to open today, around 5,000. So that's about 400 points higher. We are opening here in as we speak. Market is opening as we speak. So expect that jump to about yeah, about maybe 10% higher. The EUROSTOXX 50 got almost down to the strong support area here around 44.90, 44.70, and that is more or less the same thing really. So let's just have a look where we are trading at the moment. We are trading in range around 21,250, and yeah, it's been strong bounce too. I think, and market will open up that around 10% higher, and but then we could see a little bit of profit taking in the early hours. So let's see where we end today. But the tide has been turned, of course, and we had this massive bullish engulfing here yesterday that could push it higher. Let's just have a look at what's happened in China, by the way. In Hong Kong, Hang Seng Index, well, it didn't close up more than about 2.4% higher. So it's really they are not partying out there that much. Of course, it bounced a little bit here yesterday, but still not much to celebrate compared to US and European markets. Euro dollar is stepping sideways in the range between 109 and 111, and I think what I will do, I will add a horizontal line to this and say, well, if it takes out this range here and it says 110.95, say 111 and 108.80, that is the short-term direction. We are in a bullish trend, but it is struggling a little bit to really gain momentum. If it takes out 108.80, then we could be looking at levels down here at 107.30 level, where that's key support. Sterling dollar still bouncing here, trying to call back up 128.65. We are in a bouncing mode. I think we will slowly crawl higher towards 130 in the coming days, but if it takes out 127, then we're looking at a level at 125.60. Correction time in euro sterling, it has also been one of a ride for the books. A massive move up here, and we can see on the weekly what it actually did. It spiked just above the resistance here at 86.45, now setting back, and we have a correction phase already taking back 38.2. Retracement could drop a little bit lower to around 84.65, maybe dipping down to 84.50 possibly, but it seems like we have turned the tide and we are in a bullish trend unless we get the RSI back below the 60 threshold, which I don't think we actually closed above last week. So we are in a bullish trend, so maybe it's just a correction and then we'll push higher. The support at 144.80 has been breached a couple of times, but we did close below, above once again. I think I will remove this falling trend line here because it's obsolete now. So now we seems to be stuck in this range here between 148 and 144. That's the breakout. If it takes out 148, well, it did actually yesterday a little bit. We are still in the downtrend, but I think we'll see it be in a wait and see mode. So that's what I want to do. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating we are likely to see dollar yen on lower levels. And we can see here on the weekly, it is actually lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Still flirting with the 40 threshold on the weekly, so it's still holding on a little bit. But as we can see, moving averages turning around. I think it's just a question of time. Then we'll see it pushing lower towards 140 level. But for totally change the direction, it needs to get back above 151.25. Euro yen still frustrating, extremely volatile, tucked in here between 158.30 level and 164.20. That it's a massive range, but we can also see how big the volatility has been here, so be careful if you're trading euro yen. The RSI is still positive sentiment, but we can see the 200 moving average kind of putting a lid on it here, trying to force it down, and the 55 down here is I would say flat, because it's swinging between up and down, and the same with the 100, so it doesn't really give us much, and the weekly doesn't give us much either, so I will keep on the sideline for euro yen at least a while. Aussie yen bounced strongly after testing the 86 level just above, turned around twice here, and we have taken back 50% of it. I think we'll get up to the 61.8% retracement at 91.77, possibly up to around 93.35, which is 786 retracement. Then we have the upper falling trend line coming down, kind of putting a lid on. We can see here how significant that support at 86 were. So the sterling yen also bounced, got almost down to the key support here at 183.75, bouncing, sliding back a little bit. We can see the negative sentiment still on the RSI. We are in a bearish trend. All moving averages are pointing to low levels. We are below the cloud, and I think it's just a matter of time before it will start sliding lower. But for now, we could still see a counter reaction, maybe even up to the 191.55, which is the 61.8 retrace, and then I think it will be knocked back down again if we get up there. Aussie dollar also massive move there, spiked below the 60 level, and then somehow I would say 59 almost got it down to there, and then a massive bounce. Currently trading around the just below the 61.8 retracement at just above 62. Could bounce further up to the cloud at 62.5, maybe up to the 786 retracement at 62.87. Possibly, but then we have all the moving averages coming down here, kind of also putting a little. So there's really strong resistance in this area here. If it can actually get back above the 61.8 retracement, otherwise it could be sliding back. Still negative sentiment, no divergence, indicating low levels. However, here on the weekly we can see, excuse me, divergence. You can see the RSI value here higher here than here, so exhaustive move. So I think we'll see a push up to the 62.5, maybe just below 63. Dollar Canada continuing lower here, and I think we'll see it hitting 140 and the 200 moving average, possibly down to 139.25. Where we have some support, and then we'll see a bounce. Negative sentiment, moving average declining, so I think we'll see a push down to that level there. Sterling Canada below the 61.8 retracement, below the 100 moving, is dancing around it at the moment actually, just keeping itself in the cloud, but negative sentiment on the RSI indicating we should see it push down to 179, which is the 786 retracement. Euro Swiss bounced from the 92.55 support here. You can see here how strong it is here on the weekly. You can see it's been testing a couple times, spiking below also, but bouncing from it lastly here. Could have pushed down to 92.10, but it didn't, and now it's bouncing, and currently at the 38.2 retracement, just around the 94. If it takes out the peak from today, 94.10, then we could see a bounce up to the resistance and 61.8 retracement here, just around 94.90, and just below the cloud here. That will be very strong resistance indeed. Dollar Swiss didn't bounce that much. Of course, that's relative. Of course. Got almost down to 83.30, but we can see here where it turned around on the weekly. Also strong bounce there, and I think we could see it maybe push up to the 61.8 retracement at 86.65. If it starts pushing back above 86.75, then we're looking at 87.50 level. And finally, the dollar index. Still more or less sideways. It dipped just to touch the 101 and then bounced. But now it is a little bit, which way should I go? Can't make up my mind. There is a slight divergence on the RSI indicating exhaustion mode. Here on the weekly we see what's going on. On the broader picture there's still potential lower, but it needs to take out the lows here from past few days. Then we're looking at 100 level. I think we'll see a bounce maybe up to, and let's just add a resistance line. We can take this one. There's some resistance here at 104.34. Gold is pushing higher and now has reached 786 retracement at 31.22. You see here yesterday it reached 61.8 retracement at 3,087, and maybe we could see then a little bit of setback, but we are pushing higher. Weekly we are taking out this the body of the past of last week, and now there's potential higher to 32.48. Possibly up to around 3,300. key support here at 29.55, of course. And we have the silver also bouncing strongly. And let's just zoom in on it here. It's bouncing strongly from the 28.75 support where dipped below, but it's not really that convincing. Of course, that is also more industrial product than anything. It should be able to bounce up to 32.20, which is the 61.8 retracement. But if it starts taking out the lows from yesterday, then I think we'll see a push below 28. Copper also bouncing somewhat, but not that much. It hasn't even gone up to the 38.2 just yet. Still negative sentiment, but I think we'll see a bounce up to that level here, maybe today. Resistance at 449.75. If it can take out these levels here at 455, then maybe we could see a push up to the 486 level, which is the 61.8 retracement. However, if it takes out the lows here at 403, well, then we will see a push down below 400. Crude oil, and in this case, WTI, I think we need to see the we need to look at the weekly also. We can see dip down to almost 55 below the support here, and we can just zoom in a little bit. We can see where it actually dipped down to. We actually did have a little bit of support down here, a little bit of support there. We didn't get all the way down there, but we are in a bearish trend. But now it's bouncing strongly, taking back almost 50% of this sell-off here. But now sliding lower. Still negative sentiment, no divergence could indicate we are not turning the tide anytime soon. However, if it takes out the peak here from today at 63.33, then maybe we can see a push up to 65.25, 65.70 level, which is the 61.8 retracement. Then I think we'll see a sliding back. Brent crude oil dancing around the 38.2 retracement at just below 65. We can see here on the weekly dip just below 60 down to 58.40 yesterday before bouncing strongly. I think we could see a bounce up to maybe 60, just below 69 here. The European gas, and let's just get a little bit of perspective here. European gas almost down to the 32 euro level, could still do it. No sentiment on the RSI, indicating still likely lower levels, bouncing a little bit, but we could slide lower and to really turn around again. It needs to get back at least above 43, but then we can see here 55 crossed over, the 100 moving average both declining, so that indicates the underlying trend is actually bearish. The US nat gas Henry Hub bounced after dipping below 340 and is still in this range around here at 370, but it has turned around, so lower low, lower high, and lower low, and so on. So we are also in a bearish trend on US nat gas. Treasury yields, US 10-year Treasury yield. There was an auction yesterday, I believe it was, that was actually quite good. Demand was good, but as we can see here, the US Treasury yields did spike above the 440, but didn't manage to stay above, and the RSI didn't break the 60 threshold, meaning we're still in negative sentiment. So I think we'll see a little bit of a setback here the next couple of days. We can also see both the 100 and the 55 moving average giving a kind of a pressure, and so we could see it sliding back towards 412, 410, still below the cloud. So still not convincing to move higher, and maybe we should be happy about that. The 2-year bounced to above the 786, just below the 4% here. It reached 395. It hasn't started trading just yet, so let's see. I think we'll start trading around these 380 level here when it does open. And on the European yields, and let's have a look at that. We have the Euro 10 jumping this morning back above the 38.2. I think it can reach the 61.8 retracement at 275. The UK massive move yesterday, opening a little bit lower today. If it takes out 482 here, 481 to 482, then there's potential up to around 5%. Bitcoin, cryptos also bounced quite nicely. Let's get rid of this one. bounced quite nicely from the 74,000 we talked about it yesterday. It could bounce a little bit further here in the coming days, but really to establish a bullish trend, it needs to get back above 88,800. The Ethereum also bounced off the 1400, but it really needs to get back above, at least above the falling trend line here to indicate that it will start establishing a bullish trend, and we have seen a button and reversal. So still a bit depressed, really. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and talk to you later.